welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is your favorite Chicago sports show. That's right. It is ITC presents Dirty Dave and the man of Chicago. And of course, I am your man, Jerome Span, but I am here with that original Chicago hot take spitter, that man who since day one been coming in, he said, look, I got this hot fire for you. Let me spit it to you. Draconis, here you go. Hold that. Hold that. He is that man, Dirty Dave.
Man, every week I look forward to these introductions. I swear, if I have a down week, man, I know I can count on you, my man Jerome Span. I appreciate you, brother.
Always.
Yeah, man, here we go. We got some interesting stuff going on in Chicago sports. We don't have to just talk about baseball again this week. We got some hockey stuff going on. We got some football stuff going on. And if you want, I'll give you another few minutes to talk bad about Nikola Vucevic if you'd like. I know you like it.
Dog, I've had enough of that. I told you, he need to be on. You said it best, right? We was texting about it. And he said he need to be on his way to China right now. Like, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. Like, the move, it made sense on its face when they did it, right? Because you weren't really going to get any better without bringing him in. You had to do something. There was limited options. But Jesus Christ, I am so done with this, Dave. Get this dude out of here, bro. I don't have time for this. What is this? Like, he can't rebound no more. He can't shoot. He'd never been able to really play defense. So what do we even have?
Man, you know what, man, Jerome, I got a feeling that you could be sounding like a lot of Packers fans after the Bears week one walk into Soldier Field and do that same thing to Jordan Love. You have a lot of Packers fans saying he's not accurate, he's not mobile, he doesn't know he has no pocket awareness. And Bears schedule was about 5 minutes ago, and man, I'm excited about that. You're gonna be a lot of cheeseheads talking about Jordan Love like you talk about Vooch, I think.
I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, look, if we're going to talk about it, we'll call it what it is, right? Plain out and simple. Jordan Love is not good. I know that some people are going to be like, well, how are you going to say that? You know, we haven't seen him play. How do you know whether he's good or not? It's very simple. The Packers was willing to blow up their entire salary cap this year and still pay Aaron Rodgers if he was like, yeah, I'll come back and play another season. But he was like, no, I'm trying to do south to New York, baby. I'm sick of living in Green Bay during the season. If I'm going to live somewhere cold, let me go at least live somewhere fun and play. So, yeah, I think a lot of Packer fans are going to be in for a very rude awakening come this season. Jordan Love, I ain't trying to hate on the dude and say he doesn't have a chance at some point to be a good quarterback. But it says leaps and volumes to me in what I've seen from him when he's been on the field and the fact that let's just go back to last offseason, right? Before Aaron Rodgers got his new money, the Packers could have traded him then, Dave, because they already had Jordan Love on the roster. He'd been there. He'd been in the system. That would have been year two being in the system, learning it. He should know it inside out, right? If he's really that guy, he should be ready to go after spending 2 years on the bench learning the system. The Packers were so afraid of that option that they was like, Aaron, we will pay you whatever the fuck you want, bro. like, come on, man. Like, you can't. Until I see Jordan Love go out here and ball out, I will never, ever say that dude's going to be good. And guess what? He ain't going to go out there and ball out. So Packer fans, guess what? It's about to go back to the times before Brett Favre. About to be where y'all over here like, oh, who is these dudes we got at quarterback? While the Bears have a team that's running down your throat. And then y'all gonna be really upset too. Because y'all, look, whether they believe it or not, Dave, the Packers are the fourth best team in the division right now. They are.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the Bears still got to get to the quarterback and they got to prove themselves on defense still. But, I mean, yeah,
Dave, it can't be worse than it was last year. It cannot be worse than it was last year.
But here's the thing.
It's statistically improbable. It cannot be that bad again.
But here's my thing is improving good enough? And when it comes to that defense, I mean, you can get a lot better and still be really bad, because that was one of the most disturbingly bad defenses I've ever watched play football before. I mean, it gave me nightmares. It actually, in some countries, it would be considered a war crime to be that bad. But I mean, you can get a lot better and still be bad. But I think the Bears, any could finish anywhere from 5 wins to 12 wins this year. I wouldn't be shocked. But if I'm making predictions, I definitely think I might put the Packers in 4th in the division this year. It's just us being really cocky like we were after Brett Favre. So I'm also ready for Jordan Love to be an MVP, but I think he's trash. That's all I think.
I was not cocky after they got rid of Brett Favre. I was still a dude who was like, yo, we are going to rue the day that we drafted Cedric Benson instead of taking Aaron Rodgers. And what happened to us? Aaron Rodgers got in there. In 1 year, we already knew what it was. Their team record was terrible their first year, but you know who wasn't? Aaron Rodgers. He was out there balling. Okay, so I knew what it was, bro. Like, you have to understand that will always be a very big point of contention with me with the Chicago Bears, is when Lovie Smith and these boys was like, you know what? We got Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton. We're good at quarterback. We have Thomas Jones, who just made the Pro Bowl, led our team in all-purpose yards. We need to draft this running back. What the?
It never made sense. It never made sense. Even at the time, I remember as like a 10-year-old, I was like, what the fuck are the Bears doing? That made no sense. I knew nothing about roster management. All I knew was that in Madden, Rex Grossman sucks. So I was like, I want a new quarterback when I play Madden 07 next year with the Bears. And sure enough, man, Cedric Benson was not very good until he got to Cincinnati. Rest in peace, though, man.
Look.
To this day, you still want Aaron Rodgers, man. Come on.
I ain't speaking ill on that man because he dead, but he was terrible for us. Mm-hmm. So, R.I.P. Cedric Benson, but we Jerry Angelo, you screwed that pick up big time. Like, think about this. Realistically, Lovey might have still been the head coach at this point if he drafted Aaron Rodgers. Because they don't like to fire people. Especially when they're paying you, they really ain't trying to fire you.
Yes, I remember Matt Nagy. Yeah, we don't have to be talking about it.
Hey, look, you know what? I thought we had turned the corner with all of this, right? When they gave Trestman, I think he had like a 4-year deal, and after year 2, they was like, oh, hell no. No. We're not doing this. We're just gonna pay you stuff anymore. You get out of here. We need to get somebody new in here. But to the point of the schedule, my logic, Dave, and why I say that they are going to be the 4th best team in the division. Detroit already proved that they are a better team than them.
Absolutely.
The Bears competed in both games against them last year with no effing defense to really speak of, right? We already know the Vikings are a better team than them. I know I give Kirk Cousins a lot of crap on all of our products. I do this. But he still is a Mendoza line. You know what you're going to get from him. You ain't going to get worse than a certain level with Kirk Cousins. And that offense has enough explosiveness to make plays, and that defense is only going to get better, right? They seem to be a little bit improved from where they were the last year under what's his name? What was the old Zimmer? Under Zimmer. Mm-hmm. But we got to see them take step forwards again, and I think they will. They seem to be pretty well coached last year. I think the Lions take another step forward, even though they had the most puzzling draft in the NFL to me. So, and it's weird for me, Dave. I love their previous 3 drafts. I loved all 3 of them. This one, I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, Bears are going to be better. Like I said, their defense can. Dave, we were running our entire defense outside of Jalen Johnson, Brisker, and Eddie Jackson were a bunch of backups.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of them.
Oh yeah. I'm rocking a Brisker jersey right now. You ain't got to tell me nothing about Jaquan, man. I mean, he's the guy. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing more Chicago than all these meatball super fans that are talking about Jack Sanborn like he's the greatest linebacker since Brian Urlacher and Mike Singletary and Dick Butkus, just because he made some tackles. I mean, he's probably not even going to start this year. And I know we've talked about it before, but I mean, absolutely. We ran backup players out there at every single position. We got new linebackers. We got a new defensive line. We brought back one or two guys that played okay. And so, I think they're not done up there. But, I mean, yeah, when we're arguing about is Jack Sanborn the next great Chicago Bears linebacker just because he happens to be getting people running into him, I mean, you can tell how bad of a spot we were in last year. That defense was ass, man. That was bad.
Mark my words, he will only be special teams this year. I bet you. I'd be willing to bet the house out of Dave. He will only be special teams. Because look, Sewell's a better player than him. Has more athleticism. He's a better, he's proved through college he was a better player. If Sewell came out last year, he would have been a first-round draft pick. But he came out this year, so his stock dropped a little bit. Which is weird. Like, I don't understand why that happens. It's not like his tape got worse this year. You know what I mean? Like, Oregon just didn't have as much success. So I think the Bears, like I said, that defense has to be better. My questions do revolve around the same thing as you, which is who's going to get to the quarterback. But look, man, there's no way it can be what it was last year, where it was like nobody is getting to the quarterback. It can't be, Dave. It just can't. Look, I just get it. I get the feeling in my gut. Either Frank Clark or Ngakoue is going to end up on this roster. So somebody's going to be able to get to the quarterback. We going to have it. Even if it's only one, we going to have somebody.
You got to have at least one. I mean, you have to have somebody that can get there, man. You are spot on. Because, I mean, what we got right now is not – it still isn't any better to me. I really don't know if they'll get any better. And man, can I say right now that I don't want to hear any more of the Chase Young talk. I do not want to spend draft picks trading to Washington for Chase Young. Chase Young's career stats are exactly the same as Travis Gibson's. Chase Young in the NFL has been Travis Gibson. I'm not interested in Chase Young giving up what you're going to have to give up for the athleticism and all that, because, he just doesn't produce, and you need someone to produce right now. If he gets double teamed like he has been in Washington and he doesn't produce, it doesn't help, because Andrew Billings sure as hell is not going to get to the quarterback every play. It's not going to happen. Rasheem Green has never gotten to the quarterback at a clip where it matters who's getting double teamed on the line. You need to really add two guys, in my opinion. If you can get Ngakoue and Chase Young, I might be interested, but otherwise, if you put all your stock into that guy, I just think it's not the right move. And I keep hearing on Twitter and Reddit and people saying they want him, and I'm just not really interested right now.
I'd want him for the right price because his upside is still there.
What's the right price?
Like a third-round draft pick, and maybe a second in like the following draft. But like, dude, I'm not giving you a first for a guy that, first off, he hasn't proven that he can stay on the field because he's been hurt 2 out of his 3 seasons. Like you said, when you actually look at his level of production has been great. Now, I will say this: he's gotten pressures. He's gotten those, and pressures are most definitely important. But what the Bears need is a finisher. We need a guy that's going to close that distance quick enough to get the sacks. So if we're going to do that, that's why I say I would, if we were playing Madden, right, and we looked at the ratings, because let's just say Chase Young's ratings are coming down again because last year, again, he didn't have another great year. I mean, he only had he only had 5 tackles, I think, on the season, with some weird number that I think I remember seeing because I went back and looked at his stats when they first started the whole talk. But like on his career, he only has 9 sacks, if I remember.
9 sacks, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's and
9 sacks. 9 sacks.
Firmly believe in the age-old adage of your best ability is availability. And when you say, oh well, he's got 9 sacks, but he's missed so much time. Yeah, he's missed a lot of time. Thank you. Done. That's the point. That's it. You just proved my point. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he played 9 games in 2021, and then he only played in 3 games last year. It's like, bro, that's why I say I understand where he was drafted at, and where some people are going to look and say, that's crazy. You would only give up a third and maybe a future second. Yeah, bro, because guess what? You don't even know if this dude's going to be able to stay healthy for you. You're
And
taking a big gamble right now.
Even if so,
and in 2 years, you're going to have to pay him.
Yeah, you sure do. Dude, 12 games over the last 2 years, like you were saying. We're talking about, that impacts it. Bro, 1.5 sacks in 12 games. A sack and a half? Jerome, you could blindfold me and I get a sack and a half if I just fell in the right direction. I mean, what are we talking about here? How do you only, as a number 2 pick, with all this talent, you lit up the world at Ohio State, you made a home in people's backfield, you get 1.5 sack in 12 games? Either he's injured beyond repair, he is not good, or he's mentally not even trying. It's got to be one of those three. You know, if you get the first 2 weeks of his rookie season, Chase Young, he's worth any pick you got. Mm-hmm. If he's anything else, not interested.
And that's the part that alarms me about Chase Young in this whole discussion, right? Is that let's take away, what was it, those first like 3-4 games? Take those away and now judge what he is as a player. Like you said, he's Travis Gibson. And I don't see the purpose in investing more money in someone and having to invest all this capital if you're only going to be Travis Gibson, who we both know he's a good run stopper. But as far as the pass defense, Jesus, this guy can't get off a block. What's maddening to me about him when I watched the film on the Bears this year, Dave, was like, dude, in the run game, he'll get off blocks. But then when it's pass blocking, I don't understand, bro. I don't get why it works like that, but that's who he is. So I think you're right. Unless Chase Young can, be brought in here, all these people trying to say, give him whatever. Hell no, don't do that. That's insanity.
No, I will say I think our future. I think you could see your future defensive tackles in Pickens and Dexter, though. I mean, I don't know, right? I haven't watched enough tape, but what I hear is that both those guys were in bad situations last year. They were asked to do things that didn't highlight and spotlight their strengths and made them look weaker than they actually are. And if that's the case, I mean, they could be 2 steals for sure. But apparently they've been getting along really well. They're good friends, and they keep saying to each other, we're the future defensive tackles of the Chicago Bears. We're going to be here for a long time. Teams that have 2 good defensive tackles in a 43, they always have success. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to be Super Bowl contenders with anything like that, but think about, when you had John Henderson and Marcus Stroud on the Jaguars. Those Jaguars teams were good every year. Always had a good defense, always put teams in second and long, always had an opportunity to get off the field pretty early because they were stopping the run well. If those 2 guys are going to build something there, that could change the defense very early on. And I don't think Andrew Billings and Justin Jones are really going to be stopping any young, talented players from taking a spot. I mean, personally.
So I've watched the tape on both of them since we made the draft picks, right? Because I need to know who these guys are. I need to see if I think they're worth a damn. Because there's been some guys we've drafted that I was like, after I watched the tape, I was like, whoop, I already know how this is going. Mm-hmm. But I will say with both of these guys, I think their statistics are misleading that convince you that they're not as good of players as they actually are.
Yeah.
Because it goes to a lot of what you were saying. They were in bad situations. Now, look, I'm not trying to tell you these guys are world beaters. They're the next Aaron Donalds or Fletcher Coxes. Those guys are first-round draft pick quality players, right? Fletcher Cox and Aaron Donald. Those are special talents playing on the inside. But I think both of these guys can give us what we need, which is gap integrity, being sound, being able to pin the blocker with one hand and get off and make the tackle, right? How would they? I think our run defense is going to be markedly better. This is why a big part of the reason why I think the defense is going to be better, because these guys can stop the run. They both are great and excel in the run game, especially their get-offs against the run. Both of their get-offs against the pass game. This is one of these weird things with D-line. It's like I'll never understand this. How do you get off so well against the run game, but then like the pass game, it's like Oh my God, what happened? Did you snap the ball? Oh my God, let me get going. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it's the same thing. They're snapping the ball. Pay attention. But I think they will result in the defense being much better because they're way better athletes than what we had. The technique of what they had is way better. I will say this. Of the two, I think one has a potential to play some downs actually at end for us to see what he has. And it's gonna sound crazy because it's like, well, why do you think a later round guy can do this? But my opinion, I really think that it's Pickens that's out of Florida, right? Because I keep getting their names. No, it's Dexter out of Florida. I think Dexter's going to be the guy because of he has better speed there. On the inside, I would say he's a better speed guy. I would say that that Pickens is most definitely the better power guy, the better I'm going to stiff you with one hand and be able to make some power plays, right? But what's also what I find dope about both of these guys is that they both seem to have enough bend to get around the corner when they need to. So maybe, Dave, what ends up happening is that we're moving these guys to the outside, right? Because we have bodies at D tackle, like you said. We have Justin Jones still there. That where they're, the Bears have came out and the coach said, "Oh, Justin Jones is our guy right now." Okay, cool. So be it. So find a way to get these guys on the field, get them some pass rush downs. Let's see what they got. Let's see if they can, give you something that maybe you didn't even know that they had, and then you all of a sudden have filled an issue that you have. But we'll see. Yeah. That it involves some luck too, right?
Yeah, no, more certainly does. But I really agree with that that analysis. I think he could be a guy who fits to the outside better. The thing, and this is just a talking point on social media. When one guy finds something on social media about a Bears player, every other Bears content guy follows up with the exact same thing. It's kind of getting old, to be honest, but still, I mean, there's still talking points. And the win for Gervon Dexter was that he was asked to be a step slow and nearer on purpose to eat up blockers, as opposed to trying to get by guys. And if that's the case, if he's only slow off the snap because he's being asked to be slow off the snap, that's his biggest weakness. Mm-hmm. And that's not going to be a problem on the outside, because whether it's a run play or a pass play, you're not going to be asked to stand up and take a couple blockers on. You got to get after that quarterback, like you were saying. We don't want him to be sitting there saying, "Oh, I know when to jump the snap on a run, but not a pass." He's going to have to get after it. But, the biggest thing that I like to see in defensive linemen is, you could have all the athleticism, you could have all the instincts, you could have all the strength, but you have to have a move, man. You have to have a move or two that you can use, because you're not just going to run into a guy in bull rush, which is a move in and of itself. But especially at nose tackle, you're not going to be able to bull rush a lot of guys back into the quarterback. You got to have a move. I'm interested to see what these two guys come up with, because I really haven't seen anything from either of them as far as like a swim move or their ability to bat at guys and move them off balance. So I don't know. They're both projects. They're both just projects. We got to see what they can start delivering, man.
I'm going to say something to you that's going to sound a little wild, but watching the tape convinced me of this. Pickens is the best interior defensive lineman we've drafted since Tommy Harris.
Wow. I mean, I thought, wow. And then I was like, okay, who else have we had?
Look, Goldman was good before he stopped wanting to play football. He was actually good. So I'm telling you, I think Pickens was just, especially for him, bro, he was at South Carolina. They're gonna stink, dude. But the way that the NFL works is you can find linemen out of these, not big powerhouses. That doesn't mean that they're not good players. It's just, somebody got to get double teamed on the defense. You know what I mean? And usually it's going to be a talented guy that ends up going to the league like a Pickens. So I think I know it's early to say this, but I think we're going to get some big upside out of both of these guys this year that's going to make our defense better. And that will help out Eddie, Jalen, and Jaquan to stop dudes from sitting back there. And for God's sake, Thank you, Jesus. We probably will not have to see Kendall Vildor this season. Like,
yes, let's go.
man.
Let's go. The Kindle
Oh.
Vildor experience has to be over now. Yes.
Hey,
Oh,
Brad,
I have
he's
to
the
watch it,
bane.
man. I think me and you argued about how I would rather put anybody out there. Was that right? Was that me and you back in the day?
Yeah, because
Bro.
look, my whole thing was we didn't have better options at the time, Dave.
You are a better option. I'd rather have you playing cornerback,
Dave,
my favorite
you
team.
saw what happened when they started putting like what was his name? Jones, Jalen Jones out there. You saw what them dudes was doing.
Hey, my guy,
that's
though,
what I said. We had no options.
But my guy Thomas Graham stepped in, and he's still my guy. He's not even on the team no more, man.
Bruh.
But he's still my guy. Thomas Graham. If you watching this, I'm your biggest fan. I promise.
He stepped in. He played so well that they got rid of his ass.
Thomas Graham has a place in this league. It's not in a physical 4-3 Matt Eberflus defense, and that's fine. But he's gonna find a spot, and he's gonna be a decent corner. I promise you.
Dave, where do you think he can play?
Man, he can start for the Vikings tomorrow.
Stop.
Over Duke Shelley? You wouldn't take Thomas Graham over Duke.
Hey, Duke was playing good last year.
He was trash last year.
You can't say that. Duke played good for them last year. Why you just no?
He was bad, bro.
Duke Shelley, because you know what it is? You have the same aversion to little ass corners that I do, which is like, if you don't get this midget motherfucker out of here trying to guard these wide receivers, like you don't get this 5'9" ass corner off my field, man. What are you doing?
Listen, I've never seen every highlight I watched of Duke Shelley last year because I follow the dude on Instagram to bully him. Okay, every time he posts something, I'm the dude in the comments like, "You still trash." Every highlight of Duke Shelley is him taking advantage of a horrible throw to a wide open receiver. I promise you. I mean, even he got his one interception against the Bears last year. Man was being beat by 3 steps, and he had, was it Peterman or was it the other dude? I can't even think of the other dude's name. Oh, Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle threw him that football. Missed his receiver by about 15 steps. That is not a Duke Shelley highlight. That is a Tim Boyle low light. Chicago Bear legend Tim Boyle. Bum. That was not a Duke Shelley. He's trash. He's a horrible corner. If he plays again for the Vikings this year, I cannot wait to see what DJ Moore does to that man. That man is going to eat against Duke Shelley.
Hey, you know one thing I will say while we're talking about Vikings corners? It has surprised me that Booth has not really been that great. I really thought that dude was going to be very good off top, and he's been at best average, and you don't spend a pick that early in the draft on a dude that's just going to be average for you at corner. Like, if you're spending a pick that early on the draft on a corner, right, you want that guy to be a playmaker for you. So it's kind of surprised me, actually, that he just – I understand he was not fully healthy for the season last year. I get that. But even in his first year, like, I was like, ooh, God. I understand Zimmer put you in some positions, but I thought you were the type of guy that could handle those positions, but apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, their whole secondary is shocking. It's just it's so funny that I watch a lot of Vikings games and I see them play, and I still can't tell you who's on their defense. They just have a bunch of no-name guys, which isn't a problem. No-name guys just all, band together, play well together. But if you put a gun to my head right now and said, name me 5 starters on the Vikings right now, Mom, I love you. I got nothing. I'm done for.
I think I could do it. Let me see. So Harrison
I got
Smith.
The roster pulled up right here. Oh, let's see what you got.
Go ahead. I think I got this. Harrison Smith, Lewis Sign, Booth, Jeez, I know. So, what's his name? Zadarius Smith, and oh God, I think I might be tapping out.
There's another Bear, another former Bear.
Oh Lord, who?
Kairis Tonga.
Nobody care about Tonga.
We're at 4. I can name you the 5th one because I know Marcus Davenport just got brought over. So combined, we were able to do it. But man, some of these names, I'm like, no. By the way,
No, I got you. I got you 5 at Kendricks. Eric Kendricks.
I think he's gone, brother.
Is he?
I think
He's
so.
been there for forever. How are you gonna get rid of the only dude that's worth a damn on your defense at the linebacking core?
He's signed.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're on the Chargers. Oh wow, yeah. So I can't even name you 5 because they got a bunch
two
of
of the dudes you named aren't even starters according to the depth charts that we got going around.
Hey, well,
that's what I'm saying though, man. They got like 18 just positionless players I've never heard of, and they all contribute, and it works out. But yeah, I mean, but Duke Shelley's not one of them because he's trash. That's the point I'm trying to make here.
Look, all I'm hoping is that when we look back like 2 years from now, that we don't look up and feel like the Eagles did when they drafted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. That's all I'm saying.
Who are you thinking?
I'm just saying
you think we took the wrong tackle. Like we might have
taken the wrong tackle? I'm just saying. I just hope that it doesn't end up where it's like, oh damn, we didn't get a good player, and we could have gotten this dude, but we decided to trade back. Like, because I think Wright's going to be good. I think he's gonna. It'll be the right situation for us because Justin Fields needs protection. I was sick of watching our quarterback run for his life. I was sick of watching because look, remember once Tevin got hurt. Braxton Jones was like the only dude who was in the right position. They had Cody Whitehair playing in the wrong position. Like, here's what I don't get about it. Cody Whitehair has been getting his ass whooped at guard for years, and we just is like, now we're going to keep bringing in new sitters instead of putting you back there. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. It started when they drafted James Daniels, and Daniels was a good guard, and Whitehair was a good center, and they were like, nope, flip him. What? Why would you flip him? What are you talking about? Like it never made any sense, and they just kept Whitehair there, like you said. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the offensive line this year. I'm really excited. I think their interior is vastly improved because the other bane of my existence as a Bears fan, Sam Mustipher, is long gone. He's getting ready to play in maybe the Canadian Football League. Maybe he might join the XFL champions after the XFL championship game this Saturday. He might be playing in the Gaelic Football League in Ireland. I don't know where he's going to be, but he ain't going to be on the Bears anymore.
Well, the latest news is he met with the Ravens.
The Raven, Baltimore?
Yeah, that's a terrible spot.
Yeah, Baltimore met with him and then said, no, thank you, I'll pass. They thought they brought in somebody else. Had to have. There's no way a good organization like the Ravens was like, maybe we could bring him in as a backup even. No, he's not that good.
Hey, you know who's going to be mad as hell this year, though? David Montgomery. He's going to be like, where was this blocking at for me? I'm back here having to break off 3-4 dudes to get 2-3 yards. Where was this blocking for me?
And he's going to be thinking that from the bench, too, because they're going to start Gibbs over him.
Bruh. You better start Gibbs. Look, you better start Gibbs over him. They better not. Week 1, we better see Gibbs as your starter. We better not see no damn David Montgomery out there week 1. Or look, I'm gonna tell you, the ITC brand, we've adopted the Detroit Man Campbell's under this man Campbell. But you start doing shit like that, we gonna start losing faith, baby. Because whoo. Damn, we stuck with you through a rough start to the year last year. We stuck with you. Don't do it again, though, because I hit the ejector seat. And look, I was a Raiders fan for like 10 years, and I hit the ejector seat on them fools, too. It's like, whoop, whoop, see you later. Done with this.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm happy the Bears got rid of Dave Montgomery. I love hearing all the positive things we keep hearing about Roschon Johnson, man. Oh, we keep hearing how he's so intelligent. He's got high character. He's going to be a beast. You got his teammates in college saying he could have been a first-round pick as a running back if he didn't sit behind Bijan Robinson for that whole time. I think they're going to be good at running back this year. I think that they improved their running back room from last year by getting rid of Dave Montgomery and adding him and Donta Foreman.
I'm going to tell you this much. Khalil Herbert probably going to be out of job by like week 6 because Foreman is more explosive than him. And Roschon is the guy that they drafted. So that'll probably be how this ends up shaking out. My only thing is I would say let's pump the brakes a little bit on Roschon because when you watch his film, he's not really explosive.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he isn't fully comfortable being a running back yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he doesn't run behind his pads because he does that, but you can still see to where there's some of he doesn't know when he just needs to stick his foot in the ground and go and try and just take off. A lot of times you see he'll take off and he's trying to like, oh, should I cut? Should I cut? And it's like, nah, bro, just take the hell off, right? But that comes with time, more experience playing the position, understanding what the scheme is going to be asking you to do. So I think he can have some success, but I think the steal for us is Foreman. I think that, look, man, when I went back and watched his plays from last year, Dave, I was like, holy hell. If it wasn't for the fact that Cordell Patterson be playing way above board and Aguilar was the guy that they drafted and brought in, right? The best running back on that team was Foreman. It wasn't Patterson or him. It was Foreman, but he just wasn't getting the snaps. I think this is another type of Thomas Jones situation, right? Where you're just not in the right place at the right time, where you're not getting the snaps, and then all of a sudden you get on the team and you start getting them snaps, and people are like, oh, you can ball. So I think Foreman actually ends up being our lead guy this year. I think Roschon ends up being the number 2. They probably bring him in a lot in the pass game because he does seem to have sure hands. I mean, we'll see about the route running, but you know, that's also something that takes time to develop as a running back. But you know what else takes time to develop? Being the worst team in the worst division in baseball. And boy, them White Sox is sure trying to take that crown. Let me tell you, Dave. Look, man, I know the White Sox fans that watch this, they're gonna be like, why y'all always hating on them? Look, man, we want them to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Dave ideally would love for it to be the Cubs and the White Sox in the World Series and our Cubs win. That's what we want. We want y'all to be so good that we meet y'all in the World Series. But that sure as hell ain't happening right now because, Jesus, it's just, Dave, it's like every week that we do the show, the White Sox are like, let's show Dave and Jerome how we can get worse. Let's show them. Let's show them that, hey, what they thought was bad, we can do worse than that.
Yeah, and they really outdid themselves this week. I mean, they lost 3 out of 4 to the Royals, and they got their asses whooped 2 of those games. We had like a 9-1 game and like a 12-3 game or something, like 12-5. I mean, that is bad. You cannot be walking into Kansas City against these Royals in the year of our Lord 2023 and be playing like that, man. I mean, it is just gross. And even I don't know what they just happened. And listen, the Cubs did this too with their core that they had, where everyone just kind of caught fire but didn't really keep it going for a long-term time, right? Mm-hmm. But the Cubs got a World Series out of it. And the White Sox, I mean, Dylan Cease is bad this year. Eloy Jimenez was finally getting right as far as it goes with the bat, and now he's got to get his appendix removed. I mean, man, his own body is literally like, it's so dumb, but like his body was like, Eloy, you haven't pulled a hamstring recently? You haven't like jumped into a wall and hurt yourself? Well, I'm gonna find something to get you fucked up, man. I mean, this is gonna find something out of the blue. You know, it's either the appendix or maybe next time it'll be the spleen goes. I don't know what it is. He's gonna, fall backwards off the bed and land on his wrist and break his wrist. I don't know what it's gonna be, but yeah, I mean, it's really well past time to panic on the South Side. A lot of these pitchers are just pitching horribly on the rotation. The bullpen sucks. Guys can't stay hot in the field. It's just a disaster. It's so sad to watch. And like you said, man, I want them to be good. I really want to see some good baseball on the South Side. I'd love to go to games and have fun. But, I mean, at this point, if you go to games and by the third inning, you're sitting there like, all right, Lucas Giolito gave up 4 runs, only had 1 guy on base. Man, this is dragging now.
Look, my biggest issue with the White Sox is Adam Hazley should not be your best player right now.
Not Adam Hazley.
I mean, look, the numbers don't lie. He's been their best bat the entire season. He's been the only guy to give them anything when he's at the plate. Because look, let's talk about it, right? Robert, 254. Berger, 224. Jimenez, 258. Gavin Sheets, 260. Vaughn, 255. Alberto, 260. Grandal, 270. Andrews, 206. Colas, 211. Tim Anderson, 253. Benintendi, 263. Like, bruh, what are y'all doing out here? What are you doing? How did it all just go this bad? I do not understand.
Yeah, I mean, I know we just keep hammering this point, but I really think they lost all their confidence when La Russa came in. He must have gone in and changed something with that team. I mean, he had to walk in there in day one. I'm sure he's talked about the unwritten rules and all that old school shit that nobody cares about anymore. As long as I mean, I used to think about just like how cool the White Sox were, man, because when they first all started walking out with like the red sleeves, they added their own flair to what it meant to be the South Side, what it meant to be the White Sox. They weren't just going to do what everyone else did back in the day. They were going to be different. They had the swagger. They had the confidence. Every game, it felt like, even the Sox are losing, I feel like they could put up 6 runs any inning. And now you just never feel like that. They don't work counts. They don't walk, they don't hit home runs, they don't do anything they were doing for that time. And the answer can't just be they all, unless the Monstars came to the guaranteed rate field and took all their powers, I don't know, but that's the only thing I could think of other than somebody came in and really messed up everything they had working for them, and it had to be TLR, man.
I would say the only positive thing that has happened over the past month of baseball for the White Sox was it seems like Giolito might actually be a major league starter. It seems like because his ERA is actually deceiving because he had that one horrible start where he gave up the 7 earned runs, and I think that was his second start of the year, I believe. But beyond that, he's been what you would need out of a guy that you can throw out there at least every 5 days. I'm not saying he's a top end pitcher, but he is somebody that can be value to you that's going to be able to go out there every 5 days and at least keep you in games. And he has done that with, I think his last 3 outings, I think he's allowed, 5 or 6 earned runs total between his last 3 outings. It's like you're saying that's 2 earned runs a game. Bro, if you can't get more than 2 runs in a game, you don't deserve to win. It's just that simple. So that's the only bright spot that I would say that's came out of there. But I don't want to spend too much time beating up on the White Sox. It's too easy because their season has just been so crap, right? So we have to talk about the Cubs. Now, the Cubs season, they're like we expected. Some of the hot play has started to level out. They've came back to earth here, as we both expected them to do. Like you even said, even when they were coming out on that hot start, you said at best, I think this team can be in the wild card, and they are still realistically in the picture to be potentially a wild team going into the playoffs, right? So talking about the Cubs, though, Dave, what do you feel like that they're missing right now to really turn the corner and maybe go from a team that can go from being a wild card team that, hey, when we're talking in June, into May and going into June, right, we're saying, hey, maybe this team can actually win this division.
This might sound like a dumb answer, a superstar. I mean, no, that's a real answer though, because they really need one guy who does everything. Nico Horner, for example, is a guy who's batting 300, plays great in the field. 2 home runs, 1 home run, 2 home runs. He's not going to drive in a lot of runs. When he comes up and there's a guy in second base, he'll definitely drive him in. He has a lot of RBIs, but he's not a guy. If I got a guy in first, I'm like, all right, I got to see what Nico Horner does here. He's going to keep the base along. Cody Bellinger, you always kind of feel he's batting 290 right now, but you always feel like he's 1 week away from batting 250, right?
And on top of that, his cap at max, he's going to give you like 30. That 30 home runs is at max. Like that's who he is as a player at this point.
So if you can find one superstar player that you're just like, okay, this is the guy who runs the team. Everything's going to go through this guy. that's what you need. But every day I feel like I'm confident in their lineup, and then it's like, okay, let's score 2 runs today.
Bro,
But
that's
that
how
same
I've been
lineup
feeling.
the next day could get 12 runs. I mean, it's like that.
The one thing I will say for them, right, is that because you are correct. Because, like, dude, sometimes you're just like, bro, what is this? Like, how did this happen, guys? At least they seem to consistently go and approach the game in a reasonable way and with good approaches and with an approach that you can say, we're trying to win. You can tell that all these guys are going up here with a smart approach. I mean, maybe, okay, look, maybe not Wisdom. We see Wisdom's like, hey, I'm swinging for the fences, baby. Like, we see that. Okay, cool. We need somebody like that because, like we said, we don't really have a big power bat, a big star like that. But I can at least say that their approaches to at-bats has been something that is like, okay, good. We're playing smart baseball. Thank you. We have guys who understand that, hey, you know what? Maybe I won't get on base here, but you know what? Let me just slap this out here so that I can move this runner over.
Yeah.
You know, I got so sick of Dave over the past 10 years of baseball to where it was just acceptable to have all these damn strikeouts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a guy, and a friend of mine tried to argue his point that, you know, a strikeout is the same as any other out. And I was like, absolutely not. You can have a productive out if it's not a strikeout. If you have a strikeout, it is 100% guaranteed never a productive out.
Yeah.
Never.
That point, I hear that point, and people try to say that point only matters if there's nobody on, nobody out. Otherwise, a strikeout is way worse than any other type of out. I mean, if there's a guy on first base, a really slow chopper to third that makes him run in is going to move a runner over. I mean, come on, you cannot. Nobody can sit here and try and tell us that moving a runner over is not better than leaving him at the base he's at. And that's literally what people are trying to say. But no, that you're spot on, and you see that. You know, it absolutely feels different. You always feel like the Cubs are ready for a rally. You never felt like that with that old core. You felt like there's 2 outs, I can go grab a beer. I'm done. I mean, I can go use the restroom.
It depended. It depended, right? When we had Granderson, I believe that was his name. No, not Granderson. What's his name? The leadoff dude that we had when we won the World Series. When we had Fowler, it was like we could get something going because Fowler had a propensity to, when we needed to make something shake, he went up there and made something shake.
You go, we go.
Yeah, exactly. So when we had Fowler, yeah, but if anybody like if the inning was starting with Javi, I would be like, oh, Javi gonna go up here and try and do too much, bro. Like, oh no. But you are right though. The approaches are much better. They seem to be doing better. The one thing I will say though is the big gorilla in the room here is how much longer can this pitching staff do this, Dave? Because the pitching staff, see, look, at least 2 of our guys are keeping us in competitive situations, right? And even the guy that we both have little to no faith in Drew Smiley, has been pitching good. So, like, how much longer do you think that this keeps up?
Listen, I'm a believer in Stroman and Steele. I mean, I am. The one guy I knew was going to be a problem has been an absolute problem, and that is that absolute. I'm just going to say that absolute fucking bum, Jameson Taillon. Get this man off of my fucking team, bro. That move. Listen, the Cubs had like 8 mediocre starters this offseason, and they added another one for big money, and I'll never understand it in a million years. I mean, he has never been anything better than the 4th best pitcher on a good team, and the Cubs paid him $15 million a year, whatever they're paying him, $12 million, whatever, to try and I don't even know what they're trying to do. He's got like a 7 ERA, 6.5 ERA. Get that bum off my team. Kyle Hendricks comes back, put Taillon in the bullpen. But I mean, I think they are 1 starter away. I hope that's Hendricks. If not, you got to get somebody. Wesneski looks pretty good. Smiley has been good for a year and a half now for the team. Stroman, we've seen him be an ace pitcher before, and he's pitching like an ace right now. I mean, Justin Steele's not going to be this good all year, but Justin Steele is statistically one of the best pitchers in baseball since the All-Star break last year. I think he's going to keep it rolling. I think he's just a really good pitcher. I don't think there's a drop-off of like too normal or below average for him. I think he's always going to be an above-average, good or really good starter.
Being a good professional major league pitcher sometimes takes a while for certain guys to connect. It seems like it clicked for him finally. Between his understanding game situations and how he needs to pitch stuff and his natural talent, I think it's finally clicked in. And I agree with you. I think Steele, especially, he's only 27, right? So this isn't some 32, 33-year-old guy that we're looking at where it's like, oh, damn, you're finally having a good season. Like, no, this is a guy where he's still in that range to where, hey, you could probably get another 4 to 5 productive years out of him at least. Yeah. So I tend to believe in what he's been doing because his stuff says it, and the consistency of his approach has said, okay, he's figured this out here. But you know what's funny though, Dave? The guy that actually is the fix to all of our problems may be available. So the reason I say this is, Dave, Shohei Ohtani. They have said since the beginning of the season, and all the words have said, everything that's been said has said, if the Angels are not in it, Ohtani will be up for trade. As of today, when we are doing this show, the Angels are currently in second place.
They're in it.
They're in it. But they're 6-4 in their last 10. So they've kind of cooled off of the pace that they were on. They also have to deal with the fact that the Rangers are still in that division, have more talent than them. The Astros are in that division. We already know that them boys have proven themselves, without a shadow of a doubt that, hey, when it comes to it, them boys is ready to play. So do you think that the Angels are going to keep this up and have a strong, because basically essentially what we're saying is that they have to be in it until right around what? Mid-July, basically, right? They have to stay in it. Mm-hmm. Do you think that it's possible for the Angels to stay in this? And if not, do you say to yourself, as GM of the Cubs, Dave Ritterhoff, do you say, I'm trading whatever the y'all want? Whatever, name me the prospect. We get no Ohtani. What's up?
Yeah, you know what? I don't have my eye on Ohtani right now, right? I think that the biggest thing is you can't guarantee that he stays long term. And if you can guarantee he stays long term, that's awesome. Then, obviously do it all. But,
yes, you can if your owner stop being cheap.
Well, right. But also, you could stop being cheap and you could offer him $50 million a year, but the Yankees could also offer him exactly $50 million a year as well. And then it comes down to, do you want to go to the Cubs or the Yankees? And you don't know. You don't know the answer right now. I'd rather keep all the prospects and try to go after them in the offseason. I'd rather get a good starter at the deadline from, just a starting pitcher, not a guy who starts and also hits 75 home runs or whatever he does every year. But I would go to a bad team. The Cubs really, to me, have taken the exact same trajectory they took in 2013, 14, 15. And I mean, it's almost eerie to think about, but when you think about, they go out and get a starting pitcher they think is going to be their ace. He kind of starts off and doesn't do too hot. But even while he starts getting better, you've got another guy who you didn't really count on being a good starting pitcher turn into your ace. That Lester and Arrieta is now Stroman and Steele. You bring in some veterans from off the street, guys who have been all-stars before, guys like Cody Bellinger. You bring in a few veterans. It's not Miguel Montero now. It's Bellinger. It's Mancini. It's Hosmer instead of, guys like David Ross. They're coming and being leaders. And you have all these prospects ready to rock and roll. And to me, I'm fine with them continuing that and saying, okay, we might be able to make the playoffs this year. If so, let's go get some 35-year-old that's going to eat a few innings for us at the end of the year and be a decent pitcher. go get your Dan Herron, go get your Cole Hamels, go get your, the Cubs love doing that, man. They love getting a veteran at the deadline. I'm fine giving up a single A prospect for that and then saying, okay, this offseason, we are going to go after Shohei Ohtani. We are going to put all of our dollars into this guy. And then if you could have him with PCA and, we saw Miguel Amaya get his cup of coffee. Christopher Morel looks like a world beater right now. I mean, he looks like he's going to light the world on fire. And if you could have PCA, Shohei Ohtani, and him as opposed to trading both those guys for him at the deadline this year, I think it's way better long term. I'm all for that.
I will just say, Ricketts, don't be cheap. You bring Ohtani in and you say, what is your number, dog? What's your number? And don't let I don't care if y'all got to DeAndre Jordan this situation and lock the door and not let him out. I don't care if he say, give me $700 million. Give him $700 million. Because you got it. Because you, like the Dodgers, like the Yankees, have a international brand. So I don't want to hear your oh, I got no money. I don't want to hear it. You're making money, more money hand over fist than you ever have off of these TV contracts. The Cubs consistently draw good ratings. The stadium stays filled up. You own everything in the neighborhood now. Don't want to hear you, oh, I got the money. I just don't want to hear it. So get Ohtani in the offseason. Because look, there's about to be some competition for all that attention around here, and you're lucky that it's baseball season, but guess what? In Chicago, we love winners around here, and one of our teams might be getting ready to transition into being back in that winning state, and that is because the Chicago Blackhawks lucked up. Oh, thank you, sweet baby Jesus. And now they've got the pick to get Connor Bedard. And I know for a lot of people listening, they're like, who the hell is Connor Bedard? Look, I have a homeboy who plays, he played very high-level hockey. He still plays higher-level rec league hockey now at this point, right? He told me about Connor Bedard last season, like before last hockey season started. He was like, hey, just watch this dude. He's going to tear it up. In 7 games, Connor Bedard had 20 points in the playoffs. Okay? In 7 games, 20.
Bro, the crazy thing is, you think in playoffs and you're like, wow, that's really impressive. That is the World Championships. That's like if a soccer player went to the World Cup and scored 20 goals. That would be the all-time record. This is the craziest. I mean, I'm not even being serious. You can't even find a parallel to getting a Connor Bedard because he's 17 years old and he legitimately next year could score 100 points in the NHL as an 18-year-old. I mean, he is maybe the best. Him and Connor McDavid are probably the 2 best sports prospects I've ever seen. And Jerome, that I sit around and all I do is I look at the draft in every sport. I mean, he is the LeBron, Zion, but maybe better. I mean, he is literally the Blackhawks just lucked into the LeBron James of the NHL as a prospect. Now, does he turn into the LeBron? I sure think so. But I'm going to read you some other numbers from him because this is crazy to think about. In regular season play, as a 16-year-old in the league that goes up to 20, which means he's still got his voice cracking and trying to understand what what boobs are on a girl. He still has no clue what's going on. He scored 100 points in 60 games. And then this last year, he scored 143 points. That is more than 2 points per game over a season. This isn't a small stretch. It's not he got lucky. This is every day. I mean, his highlight film is the greatest. It's hockey porn. It's phenomenal. I mean, I'm still in shock. That's all I can say.
He's one of those guys that it leaps off the screen when you watch him. You're like, oh, he's way better than everybody he's playing against. Oh, but I think this is the craziest stat, Dave, that I saw. And I had to go back and find it here as you were talking about it. This is via the Sporting News. Okay. Bedard ended his WHL career with an even 1.0 goals per game average. The 2023 prospect scored 134 goals in 134 games in the league, the fourth highest average ever by a player who skated in at least 200 games. Dog.
And he's a better passer.
Dog. Like, what?
You can't even like describe his highlight film. It's literally just like, I mean, there are goals where it's literally 1-on-5 and he scores. It's him against the whole 5 players and a goalie, and he finds enough space to take a rocket shot that goes top corner, and the goalie just has to watch it. I mean, he does things on the ice that grown adults in the NHL could never do.
So just to give our fans some perspective, I'm gonna throw some names at them that people that watch hockey are gonna know, right? This is a higher goals per game average than Joe Sakic, Brent Suter, Kyle Reeves, Dennis Holland, and all those guys. And look, if you know hockey, Joe Sakic was a fucking dog. Okay, so we're looking at like this is supposed to be that next one. I will say the one critique that my guy had, I want to quote him on this.
You found a critique on Connor Bedard?
Yeah, he's a hockey guy. He's always gonna have hockey guys are gonna have critiques, but he did also keep it in context that first off, the dude he knows that he's 17, right, and that he has the potential to get better. But he said he can shoot like a MFA. His skating is mid. He floats like a little bee, and he cost his team Game 7 with the turnover while trying to do too much and flop, trying to draw a penalty. As you can see, that my boy got a little bit upset. Devo got a little bit mad with how he was playing. He's like, I don't like this. But regardless, this is a dude that Chicago, we got some sort of think about this, Dave. We could finally look if the Bulls, if the NBA could just rig the draft for us, dog. Think about this. Chicago could potentially be the home of Justin Fields, Wembanyama, and Connor Bedard.
That would be the crazy. I mean, that would be. I can't even imagine that because I'm just gonna get too excited. I'm gonna be drifting off. I'm gonna be in the clouds. I'm gonna be, and this would be the greatest day of my life if they won the draft lottery.
If the Bulls win the draft lottery, dog, I'm losing my mind because Wembanyama is the truth. Like, I know some people are like, oh, he's too skinny. Y'all don't know. Y'all was the same dumbasses that told me that about Kevin Durant while I was telling y'all, you clearly don't see how this dude plays, huh?
Bro, this dude is 7'4" and just like hits these spin faders like Kobe. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody at that size should be able to do that. Nobody.
The thing that I love about him though is that he can do all that, but he still plays big consistently. Mm-hmm. He's not tall, man. Like somebody who got elbowed in the head yesterday, and now they're talking about he might have a concussion and might not be able to play in the next game, in Game 6 when his team needs him. He might be back in the street clothes again. But that's big man. That's whew. And a big man with that skill,
unheard of.
Like, dude, honestly, if the only thing I could compare it to, it's like if you gave Jokic Anthony Davis's athleticism. It's like that's what Wembanyama is. It's like, oh, so you can't guard me? Oh, got it.
Yeah, I mean, Bedard and Wembanyama, these are two dudes who could walk into their respective leagues and win MVP year one. Like, legitimately win most valuable player as a rookie. I think Connor Bedard will have a MVP before he can legally drink.
Oh, yeah.
But Wembanyama could win MVP next year, and I think, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he can go to if he goes to a bad team and they become a playoff team overnight like that, Wembanyama, there's anything I say about him probably won't turn out to be true, but I bet if I said he could be a 30-point per game as a rookie, you go, he could be, yeah.
Are you giving him the same usage rates as Luka? Because if you give him that James Harden, Luka Doncic usage rates, oh yeah, that's easy money for him. He might put up 30, 35, 36 a game. Like, you kidding me? Like you're giving him like 38% of your offensive time on the floor. Oh my God. Yeah, he'll kill somebody.
There's a lot of teams that can offer that too, man. There's Orlando can offer that. Detroit can offer that.
Yeah, you know who else? You know who else can? The Chicago Bulls. Because then as soon as you get that pick, it's like, well, we trading Zach LaVine. You out of here, buddy. You ain't because look, you can keep DeRozan, but if him and LaVine and Vucevic, deuces, y'all need the ball too much. Can't have y'all out here slowing this down.
Yeah, I mean that's if you get the number one pick in the NBA draft, or now with the Hawks the number one pick in the NHL draft with these two prospects, I don't think there's a trade you could ever listen to that makes sense. Like I think if the Lakers came, that's a bad example. Man, if the Celtics came to you and offered Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I'd still probably take Victor Wembanyama.
I'd be like, nah, dog, I'm good. I don't want, you know what I'm saying, bargain bin Kobe. I'm cool. You can keep him.
Bro, it's so weird how much he loves Kobe, man. It's so weird.
Man, you know what I find weird about him? Like, because I understand why a lot of these younger dudes in the league love Kobe, right? Because during the time that they would have really been watching basketball as they're coming up, right? The mythology of Kobe was being built that entire time, right? Even though there's only really 1 year in the league, you could argue that Kobe was the best player in the league, and then because it basically transitioned from like other dudes like Shaq and stuff to immediately to LeBron James was the best player. Even before they were giving him those MVPs, he was already the best player in the league. Go back and look at the year when Steve Nash won his second MVP, I believe it was. Go look at LeBron James's number. He was the MVP that year. They just didn't give it to him. So I think you are right. You're looking at something special with all of these guys. But yeah, I don't want bargain bin and Jason Tatum because he forgets this whole big thing. And this is what bothers me the most about a lot of these guys that are that they claim they love Kobe. Kobe used to go to the rack. Why are y'all dudes only shooting jumpers if you claim you love Kobe, bro? Go dunk on fucking somebody there. Kobe up there, Dave, looking down at them like disgusted. Won't even take it to the rack, shooting all these threes. It's soft.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, we're recording on Thursday night right now. The Celtics are playing. Have you been following this game at all?
No, I've been focused on what we were doing here because I knew if I started looking at the score, that I would get distracted.
How about I won't tell you the score? Can I tell you Jason Tatum's stat line right now?
Go ahead.
It is the start of the fourth quarter. He has 3 points on 1 of 13 shooting. 1 of 13.
Bruh, he was 0 of 10 at halftime. See, this is what I'm talking about. Take your ass to the rack, Jason Tatum. Yep. Stop shooting jumpers. See, hey, Boston, y'all about to get exactly what y'all deserve. Y'all about to get exactly what y'all deserve because all that championship shit is stopping. Y'all ain't going to be championship city no more. Hey, I hope y'all realize right now, Boston fans, as we get ready to get the hell up out of here, I hope y'all realize now that the Boston Bruins was an omen for what's to come. Dave, tell the people where to find you.
Oh man, you can find me on TikTok. I'm still doing this work for this wrestling promotion, man. Follow Premier Pro Wrestling on TikTok. That's pretty much it, man. I don't go on social media, man. I just stick to myself. You know how it goes.
I feel you. At Jay Spanderman everywhere, you either see my pretty face or you will see the ITC logo. Make sure you go subscribe to the page on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Make sure you also go check out Terrell's new show that just dropped earlier this week, and that is Porn Star Trading Card. I think a lot of our people, they would like to check it out. It would be something that's interesting. It's done in a very tasteful way. Nobody's on there just like, hey man, she's got big boobs. You know, it's nothing like that. You know, so it's done in a very classy way. Terrell's yeah, you have to be classy about it, bro. Like it is what it is. Like, hey, you put the pinky up, baby. That's right, all day. But yes, people, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, follow us, share it with everybody. Hit that notification bell. Make sure that you hit it so you are notified every time we drop new content. But yes, people, that was another episode of your favorite weekly Chicago sports show. And that is Because Chicago. We love you, people.